As many of you know, I live in Crestone, Colorado. I moved back here in 2017, but I also lived here from 1994 to the year 2000. On both occasions, I was brought here by my source, my mentor, Thoth. Well, he didn't actually carry me here. I had to buy a plane ticket, but I was, requested that I come here, and I've told my story about that. And so, from a 1995 article I wrote, Thoth has told me of an oracle tribe of Native Americans related to the Utes who once dwelt in what is now the Baca Grande, Crestone, Colorado region. These were a small band of Native Americans who erected stone chambers which still stand as energy portals to the past. Thoth states that these small structures were not homes, but resonating chambers occupied only for shamanic purposes by the oracle tribe. These people had been led into the region by a powerful shaman named Medicine Crow. There was also the grandfather of the tribe, a wise and elder known as Bear Speaker. He has made himself known to me as well. Thoth refers to these people as the oracle tribe, as every member was an oracle in some capacity. They were from several different but related origins, guided by an ultra being who brought them together in a single purpose. This purpose was eventually to create a guardian tribe who would be keepers of the sacred chamber within the Sangre de Cristo Mountains of the San Luis Valley here in Colorado. The Tuatha de Dannan, the fairy humans who maintain these chambers, were to leave this reality and return to the interdimensional Avalonic realm. They needed to ensure that the forces and knowledge within the Sangre de Cristo chambers would be maintained until their return to the sacred valley. By genetically mixing with the oracle tribe, the Danann created the proper light genetics for the guardian tribe. There will be those now reincarnated from both the oracle and guardian tribes who will be returning to this region to continue evolving their role as guardians and emissaries for the path of the Ark of Grace in its return to its thresholding chamber in the Valley of the Golden Disc, here the San Luis Valley. Some of these souls will feel guided to live in the valley. Others will come for a specific interaction and then depart. Now, before I continue, that's a mysterious paragraph. I believe what he's saying. In fact, this is what I know he's saying, if I can know anything, is that they are, in some cases, reincarnating among us. Now, we have to understand, if we get into this modality, that this doesn't mean that your neighbor, who may be one of these reincarnations, is some sublime, illumined being disguised as a person. Because a lot of these positions that we hold dear, when we hear the names and think of the glory of it, we think, oh, they're illumined beings. Well, Thoth, Osiris, Yeshua, yeah, those guys are. But if you're talking about here the oracle tribe, these are Native Americans who mixed with the Tuatha de Dannan fairy. A lot of entities did in the past. And so they're more, normal people, if you could call them that. They're not divinely originated. And yet, you see, the interesting thing is, and the hopeful thing, is that you and I can have these lifetimes on other levels, other dimensions, other experiences, and they can be very enlightened. And we come into this lifetime and we're kind of enlightened, but maybe not as much so as we were then. That doesn't mean we came downhill. There's a purpose for everything. We need to understand our lives now and what they represent and how they're connected in other ways. Okay, well, that's about what I wanted to say, so let's continue. There are souls of these two interrelated tribes who have chosen to remain discarnate as spirit holders in the sacred valley. Interaction with these beings can lead individuals in finding their true work with the Ark. All humanity is linked through the archetypal light codes of the living light Ark, which the Ark of Grace exemplifies. This is the sacred On. And it abides here now in the crest in the stone mountain. It didn't when this article was coming out. I was told it would be at some point in time, but it was not here then. Each human being is an Ark prototype of the living light Ark. Using the Talmud Tychon meditation given in this issue that I'm reading to you from will give you access into the living light grid of the Ark. Now that's the end of the article. Then in 2020, after my return again to Crestone, I write, since I received and wrote the above, meaning the 1995 article, I had not read it until just after I received new information in July of 2020. I therefore had no real memory of details. I just recalled the name Oracle Tribe and having to do with the Tuatha de Dannan and guardianing the sacred On, the living light Ark. Now this is what I received on a night in July of 2020. In an in-between state of sleep and awake, I saw oracle cards coming in front of my eyes and then falling away to be replaced by another and another, several of them. They had beautiful symbolic art, each with a portrait of a person central in the image. They had a sort of Native American look, but light-skinned, or most of them were. Some of them darker skinned, there were just a lot of different ones, and I saw them very quickly. I received Kui Kui, that's K-U-I, K-U-I, and then after the imaging stopped, I received Oracle Tribe. It was then revealed to me that the Native American Oracle Tribe and the Tuatha de Dannan guardians of the On had mixed genetically within the Inner Earth to form an Inner Earth Oracle Tribe. I did not remember that in the article above it stated, by genetically mixing with the Oracle Tribe, the Danann created the proper light genetics for the Guardian Tribe. As it is worded above, that part of the transmission is rather vague. Now, however, it is not. The statement the other night given to me is clear. The native tribe and the Danann have a mixed tribe in the Inner Earth. This is the new Oracle Tribe. I'm now being told that this tribe, a segment of them anyway, is returning into the cavern areas of the Sangre de Cristo here in the Sacred Valley of Colorado. Their purpose for this has not yet entirely been revealed to me, but it is obviously connected to their guardianship of the sacred On. So now at this moment, that is in 2020, I ask Thoth, why is it important to our current world condition that the Oracle Tribe of the Inner Earth is now coming to this sacred valley? Indeed, once again, perhaps in a slightly modified new form, but of course they've been here before. Thoth replies, they contain within their genetic field and thus light bodies activational codes for the arc of the living light, the On. They also bring with them the Havasapu, the blue crystal of the new flame from the sacred fire of the center of the earth. This is a plasma lithium crystal which has been charged in a special way through the atoma of the Inner Earth with the Tychon Flame. This activation of the sacred On will take the whole process to a new level for the planet at this time. Now that's the end of that article. It's important to understand that in 2013, the sacred On was returned, because it's been here before, long ago, to its thresholding chamber inside the crest in the stone, in a slightly removed dimension, of course, but here nevertheless. And at the time in 1995, I wrote that article. It was going to be returned, but I had no idea when. It could have been, 100 years from now, which wasn't the case. Now, the mention of the Tychon Flame, that's a whole nother topic, and I'm going to place a link to it, to the video I have on it, in the information box below. So now, as I create this video in the first week of January 2024, this is still an ongoing process, but they are here in the sacred chambers. I had asked them at one point why they were here, and of course we know about the guardianship, but why did they come back right at this time? And I received, well, for one thing, the sacred On is here in its thresholding chamber now, and it wasn't when I was here in the 1990s. However, it has been here in the past, but Thoth has not told me that story yet. So I don't know if the sacred oracle tribe, in some capacity, some form, was here way back then or not. I can only speak of the 1990s, and now here once again. So then they said to me, "We come to tell the stories." I thought, well, that's interesting. What stories, and who are you telling them to? And here's where it gets quantum science, because what I gathered from that which I was receiving, which was more in non-words, but a feeling and an understanding, was the stories are like putty or clay of a specific type that is placed into the potential timelines, the places where human thought, energy, and soul consciousness may travel. And this putty is designed not to manipulate or control anything, but to help that person, that soul who is on the journey, to understand the journey and to make better choices about what journey he or she may embark upon. There's really more to it than that, I felt, but I think that's the best I can do in explaining it at this time. And it's not just about Crestone, Colorado, or the sacred On in the mountain. Remember, according to what I receive, this area here is the crown chakra of the ascension grid. And so everything that comes in here first then travels into the rest of the world in regard to pure spiritual input from a higher dimension. This is specifically in reference to the ascension dynamics, those higher frequencies and knowledge forms that are directing the course of our ascension from a world system 1 to a world system 2. As an interesting aside, when I knew I was going to be doing this video, I decided to go on the web and see if I could find any historical connections between the Celts and the Native Americans. And I found something. This is a book, it's advertising here, and it states, "This is a fascinating one-of-a-kind book which throws new light on the origin and ancient history of the Native American tribes. No one of them seems to be native. They all came to America from different places of the planet Earth at different times. Study of the glaciers combined with archaeological finding claim that the southern half of North America has been already inhabited 40,000 years ago. The book reveals the origin and ancient history of many of the North American tribes. Dakota, Mandan, Iroquois, and Cherokees were found to be Celtic tribes who came to America through the Bering Strait around 600 AD. The Celtic pilgrims who came from Europe to America 1,000 years later called them Native Americans. Amazingly, the Welsh pilgrims who came from the British Isles could still converse with the Welsh-speaking natives called Mandan Indians. Each spoke their native Cymric language, and they perfectly understood each other. According to legends of the tribes Olmec, Hopi, Zuni, Anastasi, and Orinoco, they came from Pacific Islands. The book also reveals the ethnic origins of the Mayans, Aztec, and Incans. So it continues. But I also found this part interesting. In a book written by the Israelis King Solomon, I found a whole chapter devoted to Mag-Votan. He visited Solomon during the building of the Temple of Jerusalem and told him the story of his long voyage, about the treasures of the land he found beyond the ocean, and about the type of people inhabiting it. This proves that Mag-Votan visited America during the reign of King Solomon, 900 BC. I find the tribes of Joseph and Reuben, two of the lost tribes of Israel, living in Central America. Probably they came to America when Israel collapsed after the death of Solomon. Most likely, they used the maps of Mag-Votan. In my Grail Path series, I explore the connection between Israel and North America and the Indian tribes there, and also with Ireland as well, and the Tuatha de Dannan. They make the connection there. See, all of this is the Mazur Grail lineage in one form or another. Now, it's also interesting to me because I know we're getting off on the Israel part here and we were talking about the Celts, but I just want to include this briefly, is that when I gave the Sinai fragments, which I write about in my Substack, that were prophesied by Thoth to be found on Mount Sinai in 1988, and they were. So when I asked a friend about 2 years ago or 3 years ago to deliver these tablets to the Hopi elders, not to keep them, but to look at them, they became very excited. And they brought out a book about the symbols of Israel. And they were making the connection between these symbols of Israel and what they were seeing on the Sinai fragments. So here we have the connection with the Israelites, the Tuatha de Dannan, and the Celts, mixing with the Native American tribes of North America and South America as well. And as I state in my Grail series, the Tuatha de Dannan of Dan, of the tribe of Dan of Israel, were also Celts. So there's that connection as well. All of this from the Mazur, the Grail family. I was guided to create this video as a transmission to all of you listening and watching it today, to be able to experience the codes, the keys of energy that are being radiated from the images I have created through the AI art, but streaming from the Thoth intelligence. That connection, that channel. There are two sets of images. One is some of the actual new Oracle tribe, to get a feeling of their presence. And the second part is more symbolic energies, pictures that relate these fields of consciousness. They are trying to communicate to you in regard to their stories, which they are telling. As you watch this, you're going to start feeling and impressing your own clay into the storylines by receiving the intuitive frequencies of this design.